Well, all right. Looks like we've got a another up-down day. I don't know. Does it matter? No. Whoa! U.S. futures up 236. So I guess we're going to have an up day. Everybody yesterday was, oh, it's the beginning of the end. It's like, whatever. But as long as people are still willing to borrow money to try to short this market, it's going to continue to keep going up until they exhaust all that money. As long as there's something to sell, people will keep on buying. Back and forth, back and forth. But where it goes, I have no idea. But let's take a look at a few that are of interest to me. Caught my attention this morning. So here's one that's jumping up over top. We'll see if that holds on the opening. I already have a limit order in there. People say, well, shit, that may keep going up. And I say, yeah, well, the problem is it's not paying me the dividends. This is a holdover. So what we're looking to do, that we had probably max shares of 109, or let's see what the max shares were. They were 38, so we're well over on that. Sure, you could hold it, but we're still only making 10 cents. That's not enough to hold in this portfolio. It goes against my rules, so I have to close out this position. Therefore, that's why I put, take a little bit of profit. We have a close in at 22.05. If it hits on the opening, great. We still got a half an hour. Anything can happen. We're just trying to take and stick with our rules. If you don't stick with the rules, it's going to bite you because you'll make decisions emotionally. It's like, oh, well, people will be saying to themselves like, well, heck, that's going to be going up. Because they're looking at this chart. They're saying, oh, it looks like it's going up. I have no idea what it's doing. All of this in the past means nothing. Forget about it. The price right now is $21.98. It might be $65 next week. I don't know. But my rules state that I want to keep everything $1.20 and above. This may start paying more dividends. May not. But it's not enough for me to hold anymore. And I have an opportunity to get rid of it. So that's what I'm going to do. Same thing here with BP. It's got a little bit further to go, but it's only paying, what, 87 cents? And it looks like it's still going up. Right, maybe get it back to even, but it's been paying me dividends the entire time. So we're okay with that, and just let it go. Well, actually, it's $1.26 now. I was looking at this one above it, BGB. See, this is one we could unload as well, right? But because it's a CEF, we hold it. It's paying monthly, so it's quicker turnaround. Even though the result's the same, we're getting that money into the account faster to turn it into more money. It's a snowballing effect. The faster you can get it in, and remember, we're not adding any money to these accounts. We're just using these as examples to show you how you can grow the money. And each month we'll put out a statement showing the actual growth, okay, or loss. If we take a loss, we'll put it up there. But if you follow it on a day-to-day basis, you'll get a better understanding. So what else have we got that's going on here? Every morning I'll look at these just to see if there's anything. When you see anything over $1, we know all the oil stocks are going up. I don't pay attention to the news, even though I heard that Saudi's not going to lift their cuts on oil production. Yeah, I mean, sure, it's going to affect the price, but If you owned it before they told you that, then you're okay. But to get in now, I mean, it doesn't make any sense because it's already happened. They've already made the move. I mean, if you look at this now, I mean, what are you making that move on? Are you going to jump in now? I mean, you can, but what's your rules? Too many people, what is that saying? They buy the rumor, sell the news, something like that. I don't know. I don't play that game. So we got 3 or 4 USO. This is one that did a split many, many months ago. We're still way down on this one. And it's not paying any dividends, so obviously we can't DCA it. We can't do anything with it. We just sit on, if it comes back, it comes back. If it starts paying dividends again, and it shows up on the scan, remember it's got to be $1.20. Otherwise, we're just going to sit on that. It'll probably start paying dividends again. Just depends how high the oil market goes. Used to, a long time ago. Well, last year, a long time ago. But we'll take a look at, because it's Friday, we can take a look at the scan. It's only good for a week. Put these out on Sunday so you can see what we actually had in our scan. Going back over here, here's the CEFs. These are the highest yielding. Doesn't mean the highest dividend paying, it means the highest yielding. So like if you look at PCI, PKO, that's what they pay per year per share, and here's their dividend percentage versus VRTS. It's a $250 stock paying dividends of $3.20, but its yield is $1.31. So if you need help with math, I mean, there's Khan Academy or whatever right there. They can help you with your math skills, but I mean, I try to simplify it as much as possible. If we had 328 divided by, what was it, 247.62, you multiply that by 100, that's where you get that 132 or 131. See right there. All right, so that's how you get those numbers. And because when the numbers go down, when your value goes down for the stock, you divide it into your dividend, that's how you get your yield. So don't let the yield fool you. You're actually getting more dividends, but you have to put more money on the table, right? Trade-off is your vega, which is your volatility. We look down here, we see volatility is quite a bit less, right? And you can look at the charts and they'll tell you, basically you can see that one moves more than the other. So all the highlighted ones are the ones that we actually own. We own this one too on these particular accounts. I try to keep up with this stuff, but it's hard. Got too many going on. So a lot of this information, we have max shares. You can see that like ZTR is 179 versus VRTS, which is only 6. So if you're looking at your account, if it was 4, you'd have to have $200,000 in your account to actually trade that to get 1 share, because it would be a 0.4. So this is just a numbers game. You can play with the big ones, but you got to understand how to utilize them. If you start going all in, if you want to buy 100 shares of that, I mean, that's going to be 250, 40 times 100 shares. You got to come up with $25,000, right? And yeah, you're only yielding 131 if you had to hold it for the entire year. But this is where you're looking at the 476. This is just a ratio. It's not some special number, just giving us some insight on how fast in this particular scan, which ones move the fastest on a week-to-week basis, okay, that came up on the scan. Now, of course, I try to keep the majority of the regular stocks, not CEFs, but stocks, they got to be over $1.20. When we look at all of these, you'll see like 60 in here. But the reason why I hit on this one is because they got a special dividend payment coming up. So I'm all about collecting dividends because that's what we do. So the special dividend is going to be like more than what you would get in 1 year. And this particular row here, when you talk about dividends, this is for the entire year per share. So that's not much, right? So you can have 100 shares max in your portfolio. But we're only buying additional shares when we're below, but we do have rules below. But it's just something you have to see in action. I may put out an ebook sometime that can help people with this. But if somebody's interested in that, just let me know. You can always just email me at T1ReconRider. So we can go down through the list here. I'll just put this, I can shrink this a little bit so I can see what I'm doing. Yeah, let's put this off to the side a little bit. And let's put it over here so we can look at, before this thing opens, we got about 17 minutes, so we'll look at a couple charts just to see where these are sitting at. So we'll go BRTS. Oh, let me get the other chart up here. Okay, so you can see we bought that. That's why it's highlighted. And we got it down there at what, 250, whatever. All right. And we've got, I'm just going to go with the even ones, keep my system going here. PSB. You can see we were waiting on that one, never hit. TSLX. Continued up, never hit. SWM. You see we have a trailing order in on this particular one. You can see we own that one. NHF, it's actually supposed to be in green. WHF. All right. BGB. So in most cases, we're like, well, why didn't you just buy it? And it's like, well, there's reasons for everything, and you'll understand them more, but you've got to understand how you get in and why you get in. Remember, our first goal is to get as much dividends as possible, right? So you add all these up, and you look here like ABBV. Let's go over to let's go to this charting. I'll go back up here and do the WSM that bought yesterday. Yep. So that bought yesterday. So you see the little triangle that tells us where we bought it. All right. And all these lines here, basically, here's an alert. Here's our 50% retracement, basically from our average cost down to the bottom of this 6-month window. All right. There's nothing special about it. It's just a tool. It's not something that, you know, is guaranteed. All right. That one didn't hit. Try. Okay. We have a trailing stop in on try. UBSI. Nothing hit there. like I said before, these are only good for the week. So if you are wanting to use them past that, you can, but they don't have anything to do with me at that point. They may show up on next week's scan. We don't know. Some will, some won't. But this is a fine-tuned scan. It took me years to come up with this. And I trust it wholeheartedly because it makes money. You can see a lot of stuff has dropped out, but we're not worried about that because the majority of the stuff you're going to try to hold, but at the same time, if you're not trying to take profit, you're going to end up just settling for dividends, and there's nothing wrong with that. But it's important to try to keep the money flow coming in. Like today, we had no dividend payments for today, which it's one day, you know. But if you watch or follow the statements, you'll see that the majority of the days we do get paid. You're going to get paid more towards the end of the month. It's just the nature of the beast. The majority of these companies end up paying towards the end of the month. But the key is as long as they're paying. So let's see what the U.S. futures up 333. So like all those people that were screaming yesterday, yeah, it's time for it to come down. And it's like over and over and over again. It's like they're trying to will it down. But then what you have is a bunch of people, institutions maybe too. I don't know. I mean, I'm not an insider, but you have to have somebody to sell something so that you can buy it. So there's, you know, a lot of options trading going on, a lot of new people in the market. They've been sitting at home. This is why this market just keeps going higher and higher because everybody's, you know, trading whatever money they've got. I mean, it just keeps pushing this higher. They keep injecting more money. I'm just happy to take my dividends and my trading wins and keep on multiplying those across multiple accounts. Now, these small accounts here, I'm going to show you how these things grow. I mean, we'll put out a end of year statement, and then we'll put out a, you know, and it's all about what you actually made, not some value that you come up with by saying, hey, I put 5,000 in the market and I had 5,000, therefore I'm up 100% in the market. You'll see this time and time again where people talk about their gains, and it's like you need to look at, you know, if they're not showing you any kind of statements or any kind of numbers, first thing, that's a red flag, right? They can't back it up, then, you know, just take it for what it is. I mean, maybe it's true, maybe it isn't, but unless I have proof, you know, something that I can see, that I can verify, then why would I believe it? Don't take it at face value. It might be a lot of slick talkers out there. I'm not one of them. I like to talk about facts. You know, fact is, I'm going to sell this if it's over 22. It looks like it's the last price of 22.12. So I'll make 7 cents more than what I'm asking, right? That's my asking price is 22.05. That's what I'm willing to sell it for. The last price, everybody's willing to pay right now. The bid is 22.12. So here in 10 minutes, if that holds, which it's probably going to float around a little bit, let's just say it goes up to 23. I'm going to make 23. They're going to give me that because that's the lowest price that's in. Right now, the bid and the ask, I'm right in the middle of it. So you look at that and you're like, okay, so, well, what do we do? What do we do? See, this is where the traders are going crazy trying to figure out which way the market's going. They see it going up. Now they're all jumping on, right? So what's going to happen? You're going to have either it's going to drive it higher because you got even more sellers, or the sellers are getting scared and they're pulling all their orders. and the market's going flying high, right? Because there's there's less sellers making it making it hard. A lot of short squeezing going on. This has been going on all year. Well, shit, for the past year, they've been squeezing short players all day long, and so somebody's losing money. Easiest way not to lose money is don't get caught. You know, trying to swing for the fences. Well, let's switch this one over to a mosaic. It's a little easier to look at, especially on the opening. I have no idea where any of these stocks are going. We just have a system, right? And that's the best feeling in the world when all you have to do is follow some rules. Don't have all your money in the market. You know, have a set amount, have a risk profile. Talk to a financial advisor, see what he recommends, you know, then make some decisions for yourself. I'll never tell you what to invest in. You can just watch what I invest in. If you like it, then maybe you follow it, maybe you don't. I don't know. It's your decision. I'm not forcing anything on anybody. I'm not giving any advice. All I'm doing is showing you how I do it. I have a proven method, used it for many years, shown many people how to do it. Let me just go over this stuff in the morning if somebody wants to talk about it. And most of my friends that I got into this, they don't watch me in the morning. You know, they said, but it'd be a good idea if you wanted to teach more people on how to do it online. It's funny, there's a statement down here, slow and steady can win some races. It's like, yeah, that's me. I'm winning that race. I got plenty of people that troll me saying, "No, you'll never have any money." It's like, yeah, because what they do is they stop by for 5 seconds and you know, like, oh, you can't make any money off dividends. It's like, you know, well, maybe you ought to try it before you um, slam it, because tell that to Warren Buffett. Tell it to any of the stock gurus that are out there. That's all they do is invest to collect dividends. It's a simple thing. And people get wrapped around the axle with it because they don't have any money. You know, they got $5,000 or $10,000. They're like, well, shit, I'm only going to make $1,000 at 10%, 10,000. It's like, yeah, that's if you just throw your money into a CD that earns 10%. Oh, the stock market's dangerous. It's like, yeah, it can be. Depends on what you're doing, you know. But the the richest people out there, you won't see them on here talking about how to invest in dividend paying stocks. I don't want their secret out. But we got about 5 minutes, so let's see what else we got. Looks like we're holding steady on the 290 mark on the futures, Dow futures. That doesn't mean that your stock prices are going to go flying high. Now, of course, if you're invested in dividend paying stocks or the Dow 30 stocks, yeah, you're going to see a direct result because they have a direct influence or correlation to the futures. But BGB, if it goes up 10 cents, you're not going to see anything happen on the Dow Jones. First off, even though it's listed on the New York Stock Exchange, it doesn't have anything to do with it. But yep, you can follow me on Twitter. My Dividend collection team, my T1 Recon Rider. I place trades up there on these accounts. I don't put them on any of the other accounts that I have or that I manage. Only the ones that I post here on YouTube. There's some funny stuff online, I'll tell you. All right, we got about 3 minutes. I don't see anything like totally standing out. Should be a good move up for a few of these. Oil especially. Looks like they're probably going to tag me at 22.05, which is fine. Let's get it off the table. That money goes back into your account. You can spread it out. Friday's usually pretty slow, but we'll see what happens today. Apparently good job numbers or unemployment numbers are down another tick or something. We'll see what that does. I wouldn't put a lot of weight on any of the stuff they talk about. I definitely seeing some rotation from the big players as some of the stocks that are showing up on the scans hadn't been on the scans for many months. All right, so less than a minute. Oh, you gotta change this up here. Friday morning. What is the date today? Start putting that date up here. There goes that cell. All right, so let's get busy here and see what happened. So there goes Apache, right? So we got rid of that. So we can look here, made $26, right? So now you see your cash goes back up. So now you've got the ability to redeploy that for something that's going to make you more dividends, right? Now, sure, that could have went up. I don't know. I mean, it could have hit mine and went all the way back down. We don't have any clue where it's going. You can guess and say, hey, I'm a genius and whatever else, but in the end, if it doesn't work out for you, it doesn't work out for you. So you gotta protect your capital. All right, take a look here. I don't think anything activated. Yeah, SWM, so that's a long. Let's take a look at that. SWM, so first thing we'll do is put in our closing order. So 47.12. Now remember, I'm adding $1 to the trade, right? So we had 3 shares. So plus 30, multiply that by 34, that comes up to $1. So that just increases our level. So 49.25 is where we're looking to get out of this. All right, now we're trying to get that dividend, that full dividend amount, 176, in. We're trying to sell it before a year's up, because that's how we get that dividend quicker. That's 3.8% on your money, right? $141 investment, 3.8 is going to make you about $6. All right, doesn't sound like a lot. Multiply that by 1,000 trades per year. You start to get the idea. All right, so only one on that particular account. Okay, so we ended up with try as a buy and Apache as a sell. No dividend payments today. You can see still no losses. All right, so we're going to go to try, put our closing order in. All right, so we picked it up right there. That was on the scan this week. And we got to go to the right account, or at least find it. All right, so there's try. You see the little blue. We picked that up. How many shares? It was 3. And so we're going to do the same thing again. We do need to go back to that other chart and annotate. I'm going to go 86. I'll just go 95, round it up a little bit. Or, I'm sorry, 86.95 plus 162 plus 34. I'll just go 95, 88.95. I do that for just protective reasons. Pay for any type of 88.91, 88.95. So now we'll go to the chart. Okay, now we'll put in our next level that we would buy at. Remove our other lines in here. This is just a Fibonacci tool, just easier to use. Go back to our scan. Try it was 25, so this has actually come down a little bit. Still comes up to 3. All right, so we're good. I'll put an alert in here to give me a little heads up if it's heading that way. So basically, I'm like, I mean, there's 2 things that are going to happen. This is either, well, 3 things. The price is going to stay the same. It's going to go up and strike my sell, or it's going to come down, hit my alert me. I'm going to put another order in for 80.86. That's dollar cost averaging. It's going to bring my average down to about halfway in between this green line and this 50% mark. That's the next step on this stock. So we know this is our strategy. We know what to do. You just keep on doing this every day that the market's open. But we're protecting ourselves. We're only putting up $261 in an account of 27. 261 divided by 27, 124. Let's multiply that by 100. We're putting in less than 1% of our account into any one stock. That way you can't get hurt. If it goes away, it never comes back. Otherwise, we're making, how much are we making? 1.9% on that particular amount of money, 261. Let's go back over to FWM. We got to put our lines in so we know where we're going to buy. I'm going to put an alert in. That's a little bit above it. Okay, the same thing, right? So it's either going to stay at this price, it's going to go up, or it's going to go down. We have no idea. But what are we doing in the meantime? We're collecting dividends, right? We don't care. So in this case, SWM, it's actually going to pay on March 11th, so we may get a little boost, or it goes up and hits. Now, which is closer, this line or this line? This line's definitely closer, right? But we have no idea. Price is just going to move. You can use whatever metrics you want. You can sit and put volume on your chart and try to figure that out and say, oh yeah, well, this did this back then. Whatever. I can't use that stuff. I use math. All I care about is pulling in dividends and taking profit. That's it. So you structure your strategy to never lose money, or at least that's the intent. Okay. Down markets, you have to think long term. If this market decides to tank, I've still got money. Look, if it decides to tank tomorrow, I got 13 grand in this particular account that I can go back in and buy at lower prices. If you're all in at the top, it's going to be hard to, unless you've got extra money somewhere else to bring it in and put it in the market. But when are you going to get in? How are you going to know when to get in? What's your strategy? Strategy is everything. Protecting your capital, not following the crowd, not listening to hype. And that BG was bought yesterday, right? So we can look at that trade log. 73.80s, bought at 14.14. So that's 212 in the afternoon. And we're looking at that chart. And where's it at right now? It's within, no, I'm not saying it's going to go up and hit that. I'm just saying it's 77.76, right? So if it was 75, that's what, 50 cents. It's got 50 cents to move and make 2.6% or $2, make $4 in one day. This doesn't happen every day. I'm just saying it's possible it's going to happen, right? It's got a better chance now of hitting that than it does hitting this green line, right? Just because of the distance. But we don't know. Nobody knows what direction this is going. The price right now, you looking at it in this instant in time, is 77.71. You're willing to sell it at 78.35. If you can get your head around this, you're going to be a much better investor and trader. because you're not waiting, saying, well, I think I'm gonna sell this at 87.50 because I want to make X amount of dollars. You'll be waiting. I mean, I'm not saying it can't go there, right? It most certainly could go there. It could also go all the way down here to 47.50. It may never revisit this 78.35, but what are you going to do? I'm going to collect the dividend, right? If it decides to go down, I'm going to make that $2 per year, 50 cents, right? So if I have two of these each year, I'm going to make $4. So it's 2.6%. They will, how can you make any money like that? And it's like, okay, well, look, this is just 7 days, right? 7 days trailing. This is just shows you for the last 7 days trading. All these little trades add up. If you keep trying to swing for the fences, you'll just be sitting there watching and thinking, I need something that's faster. So now you just kind of float around, look around, hadn't got any alerts. So we're just monitoring. Yeah. Could be, say, look, all went all the way up there to a high of 112.68. So it was within 32 cents, or I'm sorry, 22 cents of striking that limit. Will it go there? I have no idea. I'm not worried about it. You just let it go. I don't chase things. Just if it comes down, it comes down. If it goes up and hits it, I make $3.24. It doesn't matter. You just got to remember, look, you got 110 invested, you're making 3%. Again, it's all about occurrences. How many times can you use your strategy to continue to hit occurrences? We may never get a sell today. Well, we already did get a sell today, but the whole idea is all these percentages add up in the end. If you can get the full year's worth of dividends in 1 day, 1 week, 1 month, 1 quarter before the year's out, then you've just made an occurrence that would have taken you a year had you just sat on it and collected the dividend. We just keep on going down through here just to see what's actually happening. We have no idea where things are going. Oh, it looks like we sold FMX too. I didn't even notice that. Okay, FMX sold. I need to put these on Twitter like I'm supposed to do. It's like, get the chart uploaded. Let's go to APA first. Where's that one at? Get rid of this stuff on here. You say, well, you're missing out on all that money. I was like, that's not the, it's not within the rules. I don't care where it goes from this point. That's not my strategy. If you could tell me it was going to go to 100, you could guarantee me that, then I'd stay in there. But I take profit. You want to sit in there? By all means, you do. Whatever you're using as your metrics. then stay in the trade. It's up to you. Depends how much you want to profit. The whole idea is to pull something down. If you're pulling money out of the market, you're winning. If you're giving money to the market, you're losing. Just like if you're paying interest, you're losing. You're earning interest, you're winning. If you're not debt free, you're losing. Which means you've got to get debt free. Don't let anybody fool you into thinking that being in debt is the way to be prosperous. So here's another one. Okay, Oxy. Okay, so let's just do a trailing stop on this, right? Because we know, right, it's only paying 17 cents. It's a 0.5%. So I got $790 invested here. I'm already up, what, a 0.5%? So let's look at it and say, okay, let's put a trailing stop in for the 17 cents and see what happens. So we're willing to take profit, right? So we're going to close that position. You only had 26 shares. We want to trail it. We're going to go 17. Oh, doesn't like that. 17 cents. Okay. So we know we're going to profit on it, right? So now we can look at the chart and look where it's trailing it by. So if it comes back down and hits, we're out of this position. We add the money back to our account, right? That grows back up, and we're looking for the next best thing. So we know we're going to profit something here. We're not really too concerned because 17 cents at 26, what would that be? Let's see where we're supposed to be. So 30, 40 plus 17 cents plus say about 4 cents. So 30.61. Right, we can go, well, we're well over that, right? If 30.61 was 17 cents, we're golden, 32.24, because that was our target price for the year, right? 17 cents. And that may go up in the future, and it may show up on the scan, but it hadn't been on the scan for a long time. That's why we're taking profit and get it off of there. This could spike, and it could come right back down. So we won't worry about it. Let's see if we've got any more of those hanging out somewhere. There you go. See? It's off the table. So we sold Oxy. You took that profit of 48.22. So put that on Twitter as well. Go back in there and close that chart up. Get rid of all this stuff. And file, save, chart image, Oxy. So already we probably, what, $40 or $50 on the day. These are small accounts. As you grow your accounts, these numbers, it's a scaling issue. If you're only doing 10% under 100,000, once you get over 100, you're doing 20%. You're doubling the amount that you're going to make. So if you can make 10,000 in 1 year, when you get up to the 20% level, it's simple math. Now you're making 20. It doesn't take that long to get to where you need to be. You just have to have some diligence, take your time, have a strategy, stop listening to the gurus out there, because the gurus don't know. They want to try to sell you something. Yes. Just trying to find it on here. But all right, let's, where are we at? Let's take a look at the trade log so I don't miss anything. All right, we got that. We got try. Okay, we got that. Let's go over to this one. And we had the one buy there. Cool. So we're all caught up. So now what do? You're like, okay, let's look around a little bit. Let's go back over to Mosaic. Let's see what's actually happening here. Is anything standing out? I look for the ones that are actually coming down, because the ones that are going up, all they're going to do is cash out, right? So if they cash out, you need to be ready for the next one. That's why you have alerts. That's why you have a scan. Isn't that funny how things work? Now you can actually see when you're diversified, you can see stocks that are going against what the market's doing, right? That's all of these. So we're looking to dollar cost average these. When they come back up, if they come back up, we sell them. If they go down, we either catch them on their second DCA, and just make sure that your max shares are correct. VRTS, IDCC. The nicest thing is knowing that you just have something that's paying you constantly. You know, it's rare that I have a day that I don't get paid something in the market. Now, when you start getting up into the big accounts, you know, it's no more trickier than what I'm showing you here. But if you don't understand how to do it on a small account, when you get into the big accounts, this is where people take way too much risk. And it takes you a long time to get that money back. So you have to be careful. And being careful means adjusting your risk. It's interesting on this particular thing here, we call it a warrant. This is like a lottery ticket. It's just something that they offered to the, I guess, I can't even remember when it was, so it's up like twice as much, but I'm like, well, yeah, it's one of these ones, I didn't buy it, it was given to me, so it's like, well, let it go. That's where you take, you know, your chances on stuff that you didn't plan on. And it happens quite a bit, but you got to be diversified to take advantage of all these things that happen. You might get lucky and something splits, gives you a 2 for 1 or 4 for 1, who knows. But I like when they give warrants. I like when they give you extra dividends, especially when companies are doing well. And when you see the companies that keep increasing their dividends, I mean, that's just a good signal. wasn't on the scan. Well, we'll check it anyways. Nope, not on the scan. Well, I think we have it in one of these accounts. Let's go back here. It's easier to find. Do a quick look. Nope. Nope, wasn't on the scan, but we'll just take a look at the chart anyways, just for the hell of it. We've owned it in the past. I don't think there's one stock that I haven't owned it in the past. That's just an old alert. We're not worried about it. It's got to come back up on the scan before we get involved in it. I swore I had another Oxy. I think I sold that Oxy a long time ago on this one. It's hard to keep track. Alright, so half hour in, not too bad. So what did we sell so far today? Get this on here. Looks like Apache, and Oxy. One of the beauties of having rules is you never second guess yourself. And it's a hard thing to do because sometimes you see something that just takes off to the upside and you're like, man, I missed that whole move. It's like, whatever. It could have went the other way. It's a 50-50. When you get your head around it and start taking profit, there's going to be many people when this finally turns, they're going to get stuck with a lot of cash at the top because that FOMO is going to set in and they're going to be all over this market at the top thinking, oh, AVGO. Let's take a look at that's not on the scan, but it's one in the past. But you see, my scan doesn't allow me, you know, or it kind of protects me because it has the ability to sense when things are turning a little bit. It's not 100%, but like AVGO's been on the scan before, and we look at this and we're like, boy, that sucker's really cratering, right? So there's some people that have bought up here, and they're either putting in stops, taking their lumps, or if they're smart, they hold. Now, if you've got 100 shares, you got close to $50,000 invested to try to make, what are you making a year on this? 360. Make $154. Divide that by 50 grand to make less than 1%. Yeah, it's not a smart move. Now, if you're shorting it, you're probably doing okay if you shorted it up here, if you knew what you were doing. But dividends are due. Yep. Futures back down. So we took our quick little profit. We'll watch and see what happens. SSB kind of floating around. Now, in this case on ZTR, we look at this and you're like, oh, okay, well, your rule says, it's got to be $1.20. It's like, yeah, but I'm making 10.6% yield. I'll be happy to sit on that one because it's a fairly low price. It's $150. Um, that's a pretty good yield. You get down into these 1.9% and you see a low yield or a low dividend amount, and like this one here, it's like 60 cents. But this is one of these ones I was telling you about. It's probably going to pay me an additional amount. Can't remember where I saw that at, but yeah, this is one that I would normally not buy, but because it's a CEF, it's earning 5. I'd really like it to be double that. So double that would be 120, right? Gives you the idea. Apache's closed out. Let's take a look and see what it's doing. Okay. Went up, hit a high at 22.84. Just kind of floating around. Heck, it may go to 27, 30, 40. Who knows? But it ain't paying me enough dividends to be involved in it in case it doesn't go. BTZ, another CEF. CL, I think we did a DCA on that. Yep, that was the final 100% DCA. So it can go back up if it likes. It can come down if it likes. Don't matter. Do the same thing every day. You don't have to watch this all day. We're just trying to put as much time in here as possible so people get a better understanding, get comfortable. Don't let these markets fool you. Don't let the market makers fool you. Don't let media fool you. Don't let any talking heads fool you about the best way to make money in the markets. Sure, there's people that do make money, but I mean, futures trading and all of that is big risk. And it can take your money. You can make big money and you can lose big money. Yeah, I got the account. You should be playing with it. Should try to, like, if you're young, you should be trying to grow your account. If you once you get it over the 100,000 mark, you'll understand. You'll have a better understanding, and you won't want to let go of that money. You'll want it working for you instead of you working for your money. Majority of people will work their entire lives and pay interest instead of earning it. Dividends is basically interest, right? They like to call it something else, but it's interest. Dividends. So if you, this particular one, we're in the green on it and it's making 14.3%. This one's only earning 4.6%. But go down through the list here, 2%, right? We just closed out of that one, but we made 2% on our money, and it was some Mexican ADR. Let's look and see. When did we buy it? No, it was in the past somewhere. Doesn't really matter. We did what we were supposed to do. The system is repeatable. It makes money. It pulls in dividends. There we go. There's BG. Okay. Now this is a perfect example of one that we bought yesterday, right? Let's go back to the trade log, and I think it's on this other account. Okay. So we bought it, as you can see right here, at 14.14, basically 2:15 in the afternoon yesterday, right? we just sold it 38 minutes into the new day for $4.10. And everybody's like, well, $4.10, that's nothing. It's like, yeah, but I already took the money out of the market, right? In less than 24 hours, right? And all I did was I put up 2 shares to make 2.5% on my money. I got the full year's worth of dividends based on the size of my account, right? 27,000, under 100. So it's 10% of max shares. The max shares on VG was like 20 something. Let me look on the scan. Where's it at? 22. So we'll just annotate that. 22. Right? Now this changes. Lots of variables. But there we go. I gotta write that down. I gotta put it on Twitter so everybody that's following me knows what's going on. Give me a second. We can get rid of these lines, right, like we normally do. Get rid of your alert. All right, so that's posted. So this is the whole idea. I mean, yeah, I mean, you can do that in a day. You can do it in 5 minutes sometimes. But the whole idea is if you don't expose yourself to more stocks, then these occurrences can't happen. If you sit there waiting for some, weird line that you've set up on a chart, I mean, I can't remember when I first started trading how many different things there were that you could use, some kind of tool. Man, I tried everything, and it's like, man, none of this stuff makes any sense. You can't make any money with it. I guess if you put some rules to some of the stuff, you could probably make it work. But invariably, what this comes down to is managing money. Most people can't manage money. They don't understand percentages. They don't understand, when you lose, if you lose 1% of your account versus losing 50% of your account, how long does it take you to get that back? It's a numbers game. You cannot take big losses. You can't take losses. It's just better not to take losses. So let's just go over. I need to get me some more tea, so while there's nothing really going on. SWX has got some movement to it. See if that continues on. I'll leave that chart up there. I go get some tea. Maybe that strikes while we're goofing off here. All right. Here's a good example. You know, this thing could have came down and hit this, but it looks like we got in somewhere here, came down, and went back up. So I have no idea if it's going to hit that or not. Got about 10 minutes left to go before we call it a day. You can see we're still positive, pulling money out of the market. The real test is when this market comes down. If and when it does come down, how are you going to manage the account? Of course, I'll never sell anything, so I'll be collecting dividends and waiting on the scan to reveal what's next. It's true, a small account takes a long time to grow, but if you're young, you've got plenty of time. Once you get it up over that 100,000 mark, if you adopt a similar system to this, you won't ever have to worry about money again. If you believe the market's going to dry up at the end of this year, then that's your belief, and there's some people who believe that. But in the meantime, what are you going to do with your money? There's lots of different things you can put it into. You can buy real estate, precious stones, precious gold, silver, all this kind of stuff. But I like dividends because they just continue to pay. I don't know any gold that pays dividends unless it's some kind of stock. Matter of fact, let's take a look and see. What do we got? GLD. I don't even know if they pay a dividend. No, they don't. It seems to be crashing, huh? GDX. Bannock Gold Miners. Why are all these coming down? I thought gold was supposed to be the next best thing. That's all they spout. Can't make any money off them if they're coming down. Like, what's the bottom? Like, what's the bottom for this? This pays a dividend. Maybe once a year. I don't know. You can see this particular stock just hangs out, right? If you bought it somewhere on this green shaded line, just runs up, runs down, runs up, runs down. You just collect dividends off of it until it does something. You can close that right now and take $4, but why bother? At the end of the week, you need an extra $4 and take it out. Otherwise, just let it ride. Stick with your plan. I've taken profits early on some things just for no other reason than boredom. But it doesn't, it's usually something that I'm doing really well in. Sometimes you get that huge massive move up, but you don't see it much anymore in these markets. Once in a while you see it, but usually happens from the, once we're in all-time lows or so-called all-time lows. I hate that terminology because nobody knows. I mean, yeah, there's a inkling of truth in it because you look back on charts like, oh, this is at all-time highs. It's like, I guess it's just perspective. Everybody can look at it and see what they want to see in it. Let's leave that SWX up there for the remainder. Maybe it closes that before in the next 4 minutes. Give another good live happening. The show. I didn't have nothing to do with it. I've been told that, when somebody say that you're creating these videos after the fact, like it's live, you can see it happening. It's being recorded. How would I do that? Some real rocket scientists out there, conspiracy theories, I guess. There's something about MicroStrategy buying 206 shares of BTC for 48,888. Got some money. Just waiting for all those big players to step in. That's all she wrote on Bitcoin. It's going to go through the roof, but I think everybody's just biding their times, waiting for the right moment to do it. Or they're waiting for another big pullback so they can get a better price. Who knows? I don't think it really matters at this point. It's going to go quite a bit higher in my opinion, but you have to be patient. Patience is the number one thing. Is you'll be like, shoulda, coulda, woulda, or I wish I had done this. That kind of stuff's not in my vocabulary. I stick with my plan. I want that dividend payment. That's number one. Number two is to trade for that dividend payment for the year before the year happens. If you can do that and you have multiple occurrences during the year, if you pull down 2% 5 times in a year, you just made 10%. Numbers game, my friends. I guess I better put BG on there as well. I'm going to shut this one down. All right, well, it doesn't look like we're going to hit that 68.10. We'll find out later in the afternoon. Check it out this afternoon. Like I say, you can follow me on Twitter at Dividend Collection Team. at T1 Recon Rider. But decent morning. We'll see what else happens. Have a good day.